Welcome to another in a series of big Jimny guides to the Gen 4. In this one we look at fitting the Suzuki side garnish to the sills of a Jimny. We noticed that our Jimny is looking dirty on the sills. The fine grain in the vinyl picks up mud and dirt and also tar from the road, making it hard to clean. We saw the side garnishes fitted to a Suzuki in the showroom and decided that it looked, first of all it looks smart, but also that it looks like the hard surface of the garnish would make it easier to clean. So we ordered the kit. The kit comes with both sides in it and the obligatory set of instructions. And this is what causes me to create the guides, because these instructions are entirely pictorial and you spend half the time trying to translate what the pictures actually mean. There are also a set of cutting guides because you need to drill some holes in the sill. It does involve drilling some holes and putting some clips in, and also a fitting kit along with the garnishes themselves. So here is one of the garnishes, and the aim is to get it to fit like that on the side of the Jimny, all neatly measured and aligned properly. So here we go. So these are the typical Suzuki instructions you get, obviously with a breakdown of what's in the kit, but also a list of the tools that you need. Screwdriver, spanner, something to drill some holes, some tape to mark out the surface, and a awl or brad awl to create the drilling points. This appears to be some form of alcoholic cleaner designed to clean the surface, and obviously some wipes to wipe it clean. Scissors, and down here some cardboard. This is because you're going to make some cutting templates from the templates supplied in the kit, and some various cutters, files to make some holes, measuring, tape measure. This is some sort of spacer to get the cutting right, and a socket set to bolt it up with. And of course you're supposed to be wearing safety glasses, health and safety as always. So in true Blue Peter style, here are some templates I cut out earlier. As you can see, I've stuck them to some thin card, in this case some old Christmas cards. So these are the drilling templates that I'm going to use. Basically this is going to form a square hole, that's going to form the bolt hole. So you're going to cut out a nice square hole and then put a clip into the hole for the bolt to go through. The next stage is to take the templates that you've made and apply them to the car. So the first ones to do are the two ones that fit underneath, so they're going to go under there. This is the one at the rear, and there is another one at the front. With the template marked, now drill it out to 7mm. They recommend you do it in a 3mm, then a 7mm drill, just to open out the holes correctly. So with the holes drilled out, looking a bit messy, but now you are supposed to tidy this bit up using some cutters just to make it a nice square hole. And for those of you who can just see in there, a lot of mud up under here, so this is going to be a mud trap in the future. Anyway, I'll get on, clean up this hole, and they also show you filing it nice and square around the edges to make a nice neat job of it, although it will be hidden actually underneath the sill guard anyway. And so, finished version, that's the actual bolt hole. That's the actual bolt hole there.
and obviously the nice square edge. It's going to be hidden underneath, so it's just neat. This is the important edge because that's where the clip will go that fits behind the bolt hole. So there you go, that's the underside finished, and now we're on to marking up the top. So the next stage is we have to measure along here. There's a measuring thing in the instructions, and use this template to mark a number of positions. It's not clear in the Suzuki instructions where exactly they require that you mark. Either it shows in the diagram that it might be along this bottom edge, it shows on here that there's a line marked there, so I'm really not sure where you're supposed to be measuring, marking using tape, where you're supposed to be marking to. So we'll give it a go and see where the marks work out. A bit of further investigation shows that in fact it is the black line on the mark that we need. We need to put in a marker onto the sill where that line occurs, and then put a piece of tape above it. And so we now have tape all along the sill in the correct position. It doesn't have to be that accurate, because what this appears to be is just to let you see that when the final sill cover's on, that it's seated correctly when it lines up with the bottom edge of that tape. So it's not, it has to be millimetre perfect, it's just enough for you to see that the sill cover's fitted correctly. And now we fit the clips to retain for the bolts to work. Okay, these push in to the holes that we've made. You might need to give them a hand to get into position, to line up fully, so that we create a bolt hole and retainer there. So the next stage is to offer up the trim for a test fit, and also to mark where the trim sits. This is because you are going to have to clean this surface here correctly for the adhesive to stick to. So they want you to offer it up, put the two little bolts into the clips underneath, and then do a bit more marking up with tape. With the sill removed, we can now see the area marked out by tape that we need to clean. Two-stage process. The first is some sort of alcohol-based cleaner to remove polish and silicones from the plastic, and then a adhesive activator. This is designed to work with the 3M VHB tape that's fitted inside the sill. Now, I haven't got any activator, and when I looked it up, it is extremely expensive, varying from about £31 for a tiny piece through to about £100 for a 1 litre tin. I guess that most people aren't going to use the adhesive activator, so I'm going to try without it. I've had a lot of success with VHB tape in the past on its own. I don't see why this won't work, although my son has applied loads of silicone cleaner to these, so they're going to take some cleaning to get the surface back to a raw surface ready for the adhesive. So I've applied the degreaser. What you probably can't see on the camera is that it has now dulled down the surface, so it's removed the silicone, giving a much cleaner surface for the adhesive to stick to. Also, I've done right underneath, because the dirty underside of here, there are some sticky pads that need to stick underneath as well. Therefore, you have to make sure that underside of the existing sill is thoroughly clean before you do the next stage. So the final stage is to take the sill and peel back the protective tape that goes over the VHB tape, the protective cover, and stick it to the outside. You can see here and here and here and so on. I've twisted back the tape. This is so that when it's bolted on, you can then pull the backing tape off of the adhesive tape and stick it into its final position. So with the sill cover in place, bolted on underneath, we can now take our tape and push the sill firmly into position and then remove the tape and repeat all along the length. And of course do the tape underneath as well. And here is the finished item, looking very smart. Obviously this is not a rock slider, it is just a decorative sill cover, so it will not withstand the rigours of off-roading. But then this is the urban pack, as described in the Suzuki brochure, and yes, in the urban environment it'll look very smart.